तत्त्वस्वरूपानुभवात् उत्पन्नं ज्ञानमञ्जसा अहं ममेति चाज्ञानं बाधते दिग्भ्रमादिवत् तत्त्वस्वरूपानुभवात् उत्पन्नं ज्ञानमञ्जसा अहं ममेति चाज्ञानं बाधते दिग्भ्रमादिवत्. The knowledge gained as a result of the realization of one's essential being instantly destroys the ignorance-led misconception of I-ness and minus. Tattva Swarupanubhava. Again, the word Tattva, from the realization of the Supreme Brahman, upon gaining the knowledge, upon realization of the essential being, Badhate Digbramadivat. Is there a confusion in the translation? Is it the right translation? I think one element is missing in the verse. One element, the word Digbramadivat. The word Digbramadivat means the confusion regarding direction. So the knowledge born or gained out of realization of one's essential being instantly destroys the ignorance of I and my, just like the confusion regarding direction. Now, let's say you get that, just add that little to that translation. Gayatri, just perhaps you just edit that section, which should add like confusion regarding direction, etc. So he gives an example of direction. Let's say you go into a house and you want to know whether you're moving into you want to buy a house, let's say. Rajima, let's say you want to buy a house. And you're very particular with Vastu. And you want everything to be exactly correct. And you want to know whether this property has been constructed keeping the Vastu principles in mind. And you want to know which is the direction everything is, the layout. You are ignorant. How do you start exploring?
Probably visit the house in the early morning and see where the sun rises and assume that that is the east. If you don't have your phone which has a compass.
So, very smart. I have gone to the house late in the evening, 8 o'clock evening, I've gone, nothing I know. Which is north, which is east, which is south, which is west, which is the northeast. Complete directionless you are, isn't it? Correct. But the moment, as you say, you go back in the morning at 6 a.m., what do you get? You have one direction. You know the east. The moment you know east, what happens?
You know west, and you know the right hand is north and left hand is south.
You know every possible direction.
Yes.
North, southeast, east, southwest, every possible angle of direction you know, because one direction you know.
Correct.
Just like knowledge destroys the ignorance or the confusion regarding direction, exactly the same way, all the problem that you are getting into, all the problem in life that we get into is
Because of lack of knowledge.
ignorance. And how does that ignorance express? You can refer to the verse. What is the verse saying? Refer to the translation.
The confusion, the misconception of I-ness and my-ness.
So all the misconceptions in life, all the confusion, all the problems in life arising because of
Ignorance of I-ness and my-ness.
of the I and the my, the ego.
The ego.
The ego. So the problem we all get into in life is because of our own ego. Isn't it?
Yes.
And that ego gets destroyed, he says. The knowledge gained of realization of your essential being destroys the ignorance of the ego. Once I know my true nature, the ego disappears. Because I'm not knowing my true nature, and what is my essential being? What is your essential being?
I am that reality.
What is the nature of that essence? What is the nature of your essential being?
It's permanent.
No. We're not talking of impermanence here. We are talking of ego. Isn't it?
Ego is a superimposition on our on the reality.
Correct. Now, what is the nature of the reality? What is the opposite of ego? See, he's saying, just like confusion of direction is gained the moment you know one direction, ignorance manifests in the form of ego, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, what is the expression of knowledge? So what is the opposite of ego? Which is your essential nature? Which is?
Which is?
My question is, what is the opposite of I and mine?
Not me.
It may not be, there may not be a single word to say this is the opposite, but you may have to convey the spirit of it. What is that spirit? What is that?
That everything is Brahman.
What is the nature? What is the nature of that essential being? All right, I don't want to push you further. I'm only trying to get at, once you start spiritually evolving, what
the
is
difference
that
between the
trait?
small s and the big S.
Yes,
Knowing the self.
Yeah, but my question is, in fact, what my line of thought is, when the ego, when one spiritually evolves, the ego liquidates, the ego starts disappearing, and you start embracing that spirit of totality. You create that identity with the totality.
You see oneness in all.
You see the oneness in all, isn't it? You become that totality.
Yes.
Or it is me against the
duality, the plurality in the world.
Don't talk of plurality, duality. I'm talking about how that ego plays a role in any environment. Now let's picturize a family of 10 people. A family of 10 people are living. So when you are living in a family of 10 people, the totality is Vasantama, if you're living in a family of 10 people, the totality is what, ma?
The whole family.
The whole family is 10, isn't it? And the opposite of that is?
I-ness and the minus.
The
I-ness and the minus.
The I-ness and minus is the ego, isn't it? So when this ego is maximum in me, let's say, I am one amongst the 10. When my ego is maximum, what does it do to the totality in my world I'm living in? The world is the family I'm living in.
It creates the otherness.
It creates otherness. What else? What does it do?
It separates.
It separates you. It creates an otherness. Now, what are the consequences of my ego, my big fat ego? What's the consequence?
You live only for yourself. Big pride.
Fair enough. What happens further? And now, if somebody is very egoistic in that family unit, what happens to the family unit?
It crumbles.
It conflict. There's a constant fight because you are looking at that environment as something which has to fit into my personality, isn't it?
Yes.
What is prepared is not according to my taste. The lifestyle everybody lives in the house is not according to my liking. Their food habits, their waking habits, their sleeping habits, their decisions, what they do, what they not do, what program they watch, nothing is according to my thinking. So I am in constant conflict with everything that's happening along the way, isn't it? From the morning to night, nothing happens according to my way. So I am in friction with the world. And you're only arguing, it is not happening according to my taste. I want bland food, people eat spicy food. I want this, they make that. I want chapati, they want rice. I like this, they do that. You're in constant conflict. The world is such a problem. The totality I'm talking of is my family, 10 people in my family. I am not able to identify with the 10 people. So what is happening? There's a constant tussle, there's a constant disharmony. And that is because of my ego is paramount, my ego is more pronounced. But when one spiritually evolves, how does one person, when the ego liquidates, you are able to identify with the 10 people, then what happens?
Then it brings the whole family together.
You have liquidated your ego. So the bumps, you have these bumper cars, in that in the play area, we have this, your intention is to go and bump into other, but taking that sport into equation, imagine an egoistic fellow is all bumping into each other. We having a harmonious ride where you don't knock into each other and you're able to accommodate, isn't it? So if you're able to apply that even in the miniature environment of our family, and then as Ashrama has said, we're all one big parivar. As I don't know who started this phrase. The phrase is wisdom parivar. All one large wisdom family. I keep hearing that in the messages here and there. So, is wisdom parivar? Does it become like a big arena where these bumper cars, 40 bumper cars, 50 bumper cars, 100 bumper cars?
All going harmoniously.
No, it should not be a bumper car thing. It should all be a beautiful highway, and each one is taking a different route, but there's nobody bumping into each other. There has to be that harmony. This is the evidence of our own transformation that we will see. That now you read the translation. The knowledge gain as a result of your realization of your essential being, which is, I'm only talking the realization of essential being in the sense is opposite of ego. Because he says ignorance manifests as I and my. What is the opposite of I and my? That you merge with oneness, you merge with the totality, and it starts with your home, starts with your area of work, where you are, if you're able to see everything as oneness. So all the confusion that arises out of ego disappears, just like all the confusion that arises because of lack of direction. In fact, I'm just reading the beautiful quote which GB Rauji sent today. I'm quoting him. I've got the message in front of me. In the context of it, it gives you an opportunity to expand. He wrote, if everyone is happy with you, then surely you have made many compromises in your life. If you are happy with everyone, surely you have ignored many faults of others. So it's something very beautifully sent. So I said it very well put it. So it fits into the context. So if you want to be happy, in harmony with everyone, you will have to forgive the shortcomings of others. It doesn't necessarily have to fit into my framework, but the question is, do I fit into that framework? If one takes that approach, we are able to take a spirit of totality and keep moving. As the saying goes, we are just a spoke in the wheel of life, man. You're not everything. Remember, you're just an insignificant spoke. Just be a part. Remember, the wheel will continue without that spoke of me and I and my. Don't give yourself too much importance. Isn't it, Shivaji? And just a spoke. The spoke breaks, that fellow will remove the spoke and say, go on. No need to replace the spoke. Carry on. The wheel will go on. A few spokes break, it will still go on. So we are an insignificant spoke. Just play your role humbly and merge with the totality. And the best role you play is your existence is not seen. When I just take this example and leave, the moment you feel the presence of something means something wrong with it. The moment you feel the presence of something, that means something wrong with it. Apply this principle and you'll know the answer. The moment you feel the presence of something, that means something wrong with it. Even, example, the moment you feel the presence of any part of your body, that means something wrong with it. Like right now, this chair I'm seated. I'm actually sitting in Ardha Padmasana. So I've actually got my legs folded and I'm sitting. Like if I would sit on a floor, on a mat. So having sat for an hour and 20 minutes, or if a little more than that, folded legs, I actually feel a little strain on my stretch on my legs. So I don't have that luxury or little freedom of sitting on a platform, So immediately after the class, I'll just get up and stretch my legs. The fact that I feel the presence of my legs is because they have been exercised, or they're just some stretches there. I feel the presence. If I sit like this for another 2 hours, I'll feel the presence to such an extent I may get cramps. Now, do I feel the presence of my heart? Thank God, no. Why? Because everything's fine with it. It is doing its job so meticulously of pumping the blood and pumping the number of times it needs to, and all is in healthy condition. It's doing everything it needs to do. Do I feel the presence of my kidney, my lungs, my liver, my spine? No, I don't feel the presence, because they're all doing what they have to do. They're doing harmoniously. Every organ is different, but they're so harmoniously integrated to doing what they have to do. I don't feel their presence. But the moment I feel a presence of my heart, that means something is not right with it. Remember this. That's a thumb rule. The moment you feel a presence of something, something is not right with it. So you must be in any environment where your presence is not felt, because you have become so acceptable to everybody that you merge with them. Especially that happens in a team. When you are with a team, your actions should not go and rupture their mindsets. So you are acceptable. Instantly, your presence is not felt. The moment you walk in and a new person comes into the team, instantly the dynamics of the whole team changes. My God, this new manager has come, I tell you, or the new CEO has come, I tell you, everything he wants to happen his way. Huh? And then such a news, everybody has to adapt. So your presence becomes a difficult thing to deal with. So apply this principle. You must reach a state where you're, what is the statement, Rajima, I said?
The moment you feel the presence of something, then there is something wrong with it.
Isn't it? The moment, so you should come to the state where your presence should not be felt. Is as good as absence, tantamounting to absence. I don't feel my heart. I don't feel my lungs. I don't feel my spine. I don't feel my kidney. Why? Because they are functioning optimal. They are being their true self. That's all. Please think over it. We'll come back. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.